Hello,
Dude, Ajax
Dandy.
was just frozen.
Thank you for welcoming me onto the show. I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a very exciting show ahead of us today with so much to cover. So we're going to kind of dive right in. We have obviously the update show. We have 8.7's bonus update part 2, since this has been a 6-week update. We have some skins to go over, a brand new Odyssey event we're releasing, and obviously we have Charybdis, which we're excited to show off. But either way, let's dive right in. We have the 8R7, the update 8.7, week 5, bonus 2. It's just skins this time. There's no balance with this one, right? So this is just, since this is the second update in this really long update we've had.
We've already had a bonus balance. But what about a second bonus balance?
Yeah, exactly. So with week 5, we're bringing in some new skins, starting with some Court of Midnight stuff. So Morgan Le Fay just continues to bring things to the battlefield, and the first of those is Polar Beast Ravana. Let's check that out.
So we get skins and a new god with this badge?
This one's really cool. I've been excited about this one for a while.
Yeah.
And it's been a little bit since Robin's had a skin, so I'm sure the Robin fans out there will be cheering.
And I'm afraid. Oh, yep, I'm afraid. I was about to say I'm afraid of getting punched by a bear, and I saw it and was right. So
I don't like Ravana's current skin, so hopefully this one's good.
Looking at it, it looks like he looks like he would. Plus, you know,
fangs,
I guess.
Brutal. Hey, give it the 56 months, brother.
Fangs, claws. Ooh, that looks so good. Yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah,
I love his I love the tribal tattoos.
I specifically remember a playtest where me and Pon both chose this skin for testing, and I had to play against Pon's Robin, and I got rocked. And so I'm just already deeply ingrained.
You're put on ice
to fear the skin. Yes, I was.
Couldn't blame you. Here, let's see what the voice line sounds like.
Okay. He's got a bit of an accent while also being a bear. And we got Pun in there. That's just all of the boxes for a high rank skin.
We're checking them all and getting punched by them all probably. So next up, this one is the one I'm super excited about. We have Confectionary Capri. Let's see that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there it is.
The hug bug.
Tastiest skin. Yeah, right.
And look at all of the other candy skins are making. They're greeting him, welcoming him into the club.
Yeah.
It's appropriate. He's huge, just the biggest one.
Predator's getting better. I don't know. I don't think
so. And wow,
why are we getting all these Guardian fucking ice cream goddamn skins?
This is a community concept skin, actually provided to us by Jade Rapid. So thank you so much. This is insanely awesome looking and a part of the Court of Midnight event. Look at the sprinkles.
I love it.
Sprinkles.
Gunner,
one of my most played
on his left shoulder. What is?
It's like a cake and some cookies and stuff, like a smiley.
What are his feet?
Is it like a little? It's like a little cute duck that's edible.
Yeah, like made of candy.
Oh
Let's see what the voice line sounds like.
We're gonna have such a wonderful day filled with sweetness and love.
Yeah, well,
that feels like Capri.
Yeah, that feels like sweetness and love. I feel
he's just such a wholesome character. He saves your life. That's all he does.
Yeah, with sweetness and sprinkles and cherries and stuff. But yeah, so these are all part of the Court of Midnight. Those are the 2 skins coming in the Court of Midnight. And there's a whole lot more too. If y'all guys haven't gotten into the Court of Midnight yet,
fucking dope.
Y'all should definitely check it out. There are all kinds of cool things that you can get, all kinds of amazing skins. And so if you haven't gotten into it yet, definitely do. That Poseidon skin is kind of the peak of the skins you can get, but every skin has been amazing. Like, I love Morgan Le Fay's first skin personally. So, but it's a super cool event. Next up, we have... Yeah, right. Next up, we have the Space Crusader chest. This is another new chest coming with the the week 5 bonus update, and this is coming with the Solar Navi.
This patch is literally just the new god. I'm pretty sure.
Let's look into that.
So we're just waiting for.
I'm really excited for this skin. That name though is a little painful.
Right. It's so good. I'll have you know, I had to practice not to I keep wanting to say Navigator and miss the pun. So. To practice.
This one is amazing, and you can even see that little there was a little rocket gator in the background. Those what we use for his ultimate, which kind of swim around him.
I like that skin actually a lot.
This is a very new, interesting theme, kind of imagining a whole new sci-fi stylized universe. Not quite cartoony, but you could possibly consider him a rival or ally of that Vulcan skin we did a few months back. But just love the absolute detail on his armor and that face, that alligator, the way it's sculpted. The art team really went amazing above and beyond on this one. And this is also one of my favorite gods. This is an Ajax skin patch, this bonus patch. Capri
Right?
and
I
Sobek
couldn't
in one
agree
update.
more.
Look at this fucking leg,
Super
dude.
great. Let's see what he sounds like. Let's hear the voice line.
Soon this entire planet will bow to me.
Leg is a crowbar.
Okay,
Yeah,
so he's
well-
a bad guy.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm
That's
okay
fine.
with that.
Yeah, with how good he looks, though, we'll forgive him for that. Until he
Bro, the
throws things,
rockets
but,
on his back aren't even attached.
So yeah, that's actually the last of the skins. So those are the skins coming with the 8.7 Week 5 update that releases August 10th. So keep your eye out for that. There's going to be a ton of cool content. Make sure you get in the Court of Midnight and check out the Space Crusader chest with the Navigator. So from there, let's get into some community news. A lot of community news. Man, I feel like I could do a whole update show on this. First up, we have a 2x Worshippers Weekend coming up this weekend, actually.
Holy
And it's going to run
shit,
all the way through
2x,
Monday.
boys.
So if y'all have a great weekend and you're like, oh, Monday again, don't worry about it. Just hop on some Smite that night and still earn 2x the Worshippers.
Is there
Monday
missiles?
after
And how's he
the day's
jetpacking
over.
around?
So that'll be really cool. After that, we
Awesome.
also have the Twitch Prime, the Prime Gaming skin you can still claim is Gummy Worm Medusa. You might have seen her in the Confectionary Capri card art. Looking good. Rocking
Pure
and rolling.
killer.
Make sure
Thank you
grab
for the
that.
primer sub, brother.
So, merch news. Let's talk merch news. First big piece of merch news for those of y'all that might not have seen it on Twitter, the Maxnomic chairs, the cool Smite chairs that I don't own but wish I did, are available in the EU now. Yeah, we've been there. It is right there. Look at how gorgeous that is. Every time I see it, my wallet gets mad at me. But yeah, those
So
are
does this mean,
available for purchase.
Hindu? Does Hindu not have to advertise these instead of
What
instead
the
of-
Oh yeah,
fuck?
for the EU version of
This
the
chair is
Exactly.
$430
I'm
more
looking forward to that
taxes.
piece of content
Oh
later.
my
Pon,
god,
thank you
you're
for
getting
providing
okay.
that free
Never
idea.
ever,
Yeah.
never ever, bro.
So definitely, I hope
Bro.
you steal it. Wink, wink. But yeah, so make sure you check that out. It's available to you now. I know it's been available to me forever. I still don't have one, and I'm crying about it because yeah, I need to get that. Next up, this is really exciting. We have the For Fans by Fans contest coming back. That's right. With the launch of the Odyssey, we're actually opening back up the
Please
fan art
never
contest.
waste your money
It actually comes up
buying
today,
that.
and we're taking
Ever.
submissions through September
Ever.
6th. So, you know, you have a
Maxnomic
good
is
bit of time, but I
10,000
wouldn't sit on
fucking
it for
times
too
better
long,
for
obviously. You
$100
wanna
more
really
dollars.
Get it in there and get your ideas flowing.
And this
the
is where you
community,
can submit for merch ideas, right?
yeah, that's exactly right. And that'll go through For Fans by Fans. And when you submit, the community and Titan Forge team are actually going to vote on our favorites again through September 6th. And the grand prize winner gets a cash prize. The
Yeah,
exclusive
just
artist
play. I
bundle
wish I'd
in-game,
kill for a
and
weekend branded
get a
fucking
bigger
headrest.
in-game avatar. What's better than that? That sounds pretty
Sweet
good.
deal.
It's a super sweet deal. Plus, I love seeing all the art, so make sure to keep throwing that at us. I'm so excited to
Submissions
see it.
have been amazing the last times we've done this.
Oh, so amazing. I hit up the
Never
merch store
tweaking.
like constantly.
Never.
So Smite is a real hole in my wallet. So the next thing we're going to talk about is just a call out to Stranger Things. Shout out, that's the Battle Pass is still going strong.
Jason, thank
There's
you for the
still a lot of
sub.
fun left
Catastrophe,
with
thank you,
that.
11.
So hop into the game, get in the Upside Down Arena, grind through some of those Battle Pass levels to unlock all the awesome skins. I know I've been like maining Apollo now because of the Hopper PI skin. But yeah, it's going to continue through September 20th, which seems far away until you realize we're already in August.
Just
and this
play
year was
31, kiss my
So,
bass 52.
Make sure
Thank
y'all
you
are
guys.
still checking out that content and really throwing it down in the Upside Down Arena or up. I guess I'm not sure how the rules work.
Good one.
Awesome. So a lot of good things, and what's next is continuing. It just gets more exciting through the show. We have the calendar event coming, the Bacchanalia calendar event, and that's a big word.
That name sounds familiar.
It does sound a little familiar. It sounds like I'm probably just making this up, but it's Roman themed this time. Bacchanalia is a huge celebration based off of some god that I'm sure we've heard of. And the way it works is you play one game each day and earn awesome awards. Like what could be better than that? You just play the game and you get cool stuff. Sounds like a good trade to me. And that comes with a ton of community cosmetics. And those are actually community submitted fan art. People submit stuff to us. They did awesome. And that gave us a total of 6 things, 6 community pieces of fan art. We have 2 avatars, one from Bunrear on Instagram. That's the Susanoo one, which Susanoo looks properly grumpy. We have the awesome Frostfire one from Sly Blue from Pixiv, looking super
I think Dandy
great.
is the new community manager.
I love the like the frost and the fire. I guess that kind of sells itself, huh? 2 jump stamps, one from Observant Bunny
I have not
on
Stardust.
Instagram, which is the Arachne one. And I mean, look at Arachne, just bursting with love and jump stampy goodness. Yeah, I love the web heart too. And we also have, I'm going to say this one wrong, but Cheezelth C from Twitter submitted the jelly one, and that's from the Discordia skin, right?
Oh,
Her
yeah.
little jelly buddy.
Right.
Yeah,
It looks inspired from that, yeah.
it's super adorable. The face makes me so I'm gonna get killed because I'm gonna stop and be like, oh, look at it. And then finally we have 2 global emotes. One from Ichigimi on Instagram, the spellbound one with the good luck, have fun. And that's just too adorable. I can't not be in love with that. And from Deacon Zarathos on Instagram, we have the Pixel Collie, which looks violent and full of pixely goodness. So again, you can earn those. Right?
But there's one more big reward, right?
You know, I think there is. I think I remembered. It's called Bacchanalia because Classic Bacchus is back.
$55.
That's what it is. Look at him.
Back.
He's back. He's back.
Yeah, actually, the Mavex
So if you
M5 is only
throughout the
like
entire calendar
$70
event,
more
you
expensive
can
than
get
that
Classic
shitty Smite
Bacchus
gaming chair.
for free. And that's, I mean, what could be better than that?
Bro,
Look
this
at
is
him.
a snoozer.
He's
Just show me the new
horribly
god.
intimidating, actually. So after the event, if you didn't happen to claim him, you can still pick him up for classic skin pricing. He will go on sale, but you know, you can also just participate through the entire event and have this all to yourself. And again, who wouldn't want that? Look at him.
Why'd you say that, dude?
So yeah, and that about
Thank you,
covers it
Pope.
for
We did it.
community news.
We brought back Classic Bacchus.
We did. You'll have to let us know
Much
how
requested
excited you are
feature.
about it.
I wish I could fast forward.
Yeah,
Skip
have we
ahead.
peaked? I hate to say we've peaked, but that's, I mean, it's pretty high up there.
Yeah.
So with all of that community news out of the way, it's time to get into some nitty gritty stuff. Let's talk balance. We're into balance now.
They said there was a
So
balance.
it looks like the first couple things are actually are these support item buffs? Or
Oh, these are for the
buffs?
big
Let's
patch.
get
Okay,
into
okay,
that.
okay.
Ajax, how about it?
So this balance is a pretty big one because of the extra weeks
War
in this update.
flag.
Because we're not
The causes
doing that extra
upgraded
round of
starter has been
bonus
reduced
balance.
to
So there's a lot of
1250.
nerfs and buffs in this update, and it's a pretty big one because we had a huge update with mid-season, so a lot of changes, a lot of data to be following, a lot of player feedback. The first one we're going into is support items. Now this is reading as War Flag buff, but the actual buff is being applied to War Flag, Sentinel's Gift, and Benevolence. All of those are being reduced in their upgrade price to make sure that those support players can get that upgrade as soon as they can when they level up.
Benevolence is 1252?
So it was it made sense, right, Pon? Like it was already a little earlier to.
I mean, I
upgrade a
get
support
it.
item,
It
so
doesn't
we
mind
also
me
wanted
that
to make
much,
it a little
but like
bit
mine
cheaper to
I don't
upgrade a
get
support
bugged, but I
item.
don't mind it that much.
Because
But
support player is doing their
it's still
duty,
gonna be
giving up
annoying
their
as
gold
fuck.
to their teammates.
Yes. And also, we've been really carefully watching how the mid-seasons really changed the pacing of the map. And so that's also something we want to keep an eye on to make sure that support players, when they're getting to the point where they can upgrade it,
all right, so
they have the right
Bumba's
amount
is
of
gonna
gold
be
to able to upgrade
like
it with their
free
teammates.
now, right?
That's why it was lowered to level 17, and that's why making this change separate from all the other starter
And
items.
thank you for the 32, Fly Kit, thank you for the 5.
Somebody that loves playing the support role. I am super excited
My
about
wife's
that.
boyfriend
'cause I can upgrade
called me a
quicker.
bitch.
So the next thing,
Maybe
looks
you're a
like
bitch then,
Charon's
dude.
coin is getting a nerf to its magical power and its evolved form. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so this is like the go-to mage staple right now. Provides power, pen, a lot of really good utility stats. There's also a bug fix on the base Charon's coin to affect its HP 5 as well. So it's getting a little bit too much HP 5, so that's kind of paired with the base version here. But yeah, it was just too effective for what it was providing, too cost efficient. And
dude.
so we're just taking some of the power off to make sure that the other penetration, the other 10%
Whose
or
emo
20%
is that?
options
Is
can
that the
better compete
Rampage?
with that, and it doesn't make
Oh,
it
that's the fucking
go-to
real one
only option
from
that you
Rogue.
can go for.
Cool, rock and roll. Next up, looks like a Frostbound Hammer nerf. That hurts my feelings a little bit. Ajax, why are we doing that?
What?
I mean, Frostbound Hammer is a controversial item, we'll say.
Fuck?
And there are a few gods
where
that
the
use
fuck
it
did
really
this
well
come
right
from?
now. Overall, this item we're pretty happy with the additional attack speed slow that we've added to it. That really brought the item back in a big way. and gave it
Bro,
a
where
new
the
way to be
fuck did
effective.
this come
And
from?
since it's gotten that, we are now going back and kind of tuning down the movement speed slow. Also, I love this balance note because it kind of reminds players that we actually do have a different movement speed slow for melee versus ranged. So if you're considering trying to use or potentially abuse this item with a ranged character, We've slightly de-incentivized you from that by giving you less stats. But overall, this item really strongly performing. Not something you see so much in the pro meta, but one that can be really, really a plague of the casual and ranked player bases. So a nice little nerf here to make sure that this item's not.
I feel like this item started being bought way more because Bologna starts being played, but it's not actually a good item.
Jade Emperor's Crown getting a buff. Looks like the physical power reduction. How about that one, Pawn?
Yeah, so this will actually be kind of a string of other support buffs as well. We're looking at some tank items that were underperforming. You'll see them throughout the patch, but Jade Emperor's Crown was one of them.
Tally, Ajax camera and Palmon's camera are duty.
Really effective, especially when you're fighting like
and Dandy's isn't good, but it's better than theirs.
But it just wasn't quite efficient enough to really fit into that slot. So we're just bumping up
these are hyper minor changes.
Awesome. Well, that's really cool. So how about the Black Thornhammer? That's getting a buff as well, I hear.
Another tank item. This one, generally goes to solos more than supports. I would say that we've got a lot of buffs for both. But this item, we had a brief period where it was very meta.
Why?
After years of trying to talk people into buying it. I'm surprised it took us so long. But people did finally get it. And then we kind of swiftly nerfed it. So we're bringing this back just a little bit more power, a little bit more health. Kind of
400
HP where it was when it was
on an item
overly meta.
Almost
and before
always
it was
becomes meta.
This item I still think is extremely
every 400 health item has become meta at some point.
Slot in their builds to use it. So I think just with these new options, it really starts to be more appealing compared to some of its other competitors.
Yeah, gotta find that niche spot that it fits in, and then really like fly with it. That's awesome. So moving on, finally, away from the tanks, we have the Staff of Mirden, and that increases its passive.
Yes. So the Staff of Mirden rework came out in 8.7. To many Hebo Boomba's Hammer moves. We nerfed it in PTS, and it was over nerfed, mainly in the fact that we made it the window where you can utilize this uncapped cooldown reduction, a very interesting stat. We made it so that you only had 4 seconds to play with it rather than the previous 7. And so we think that this item definitely deserves to have a bit more play with it. Definitely has more room for experimentation if we extend that duration. So we're bringing it to 6, not quite back to where it was on PTS. We still have a few other reverse that we could do to bring it back to PTS strength, but this is one of the more major nerfs that we had applied to it. So 6 more seconds to play with it. That means you're going to have uncapped cooldown reduction for longer.
Yeah, 8 to 4 was extreme.
So just more room to play
with. They literally put that item in the game for 24 hours and said, nah, never mind.
Next up, we have a buff for dominance, actually. That's some basic attack penetration increase. How's that working, Ajax?
This item, now you might initially look at this and be like, what, 15% pen? You can't do that. The thing is, this is basic attack penetration, so it doesn't really factor into your total percent pen cap. So doing a slightly more doesn't really throw off your build. This is just a nice, clean buff that will stack with any level of pen build. We've been seeing hunters starting to pick up Titan's Bane, which kind of signified to us that dominance was not quite doing its job, because really dominance is intended to be the basic attack focused percent penetration item. But we've done some shifts over the years. We had Atalanta's used to add more percent pen. That's been nerfed. So players were just struggling to find that right level of percent pen in their build. We wanted dominance to be one of those options. So we we are going ahead and increasing that in this way. I think dominance this item is looking very strong right now.
Like
I hope
Mercury or Bacca, if you want to. Well, it doesn't affect Bacca's 3,
it's got a slightly interesting group of stats that for some reason has been a little bit hard to get hunters to fully buy in on it. We're hoping that this will make a difference.
Awesome. Sounds good to me. So next up, we have the Vampiric Shroud, and it's getting a nerf, actually. We're decreasing some magical power from that.
Yep, we gave it some love, and it became the go-to option. We saw the pro.
Oh, crazy! 5 power off of fucking Vamp Shroud. 50-50, make it 8,000 gold. We think this item's really fucking stupid.
A 5 power reduction to make sure that other starters, other starters can compete with it.
Everyone builds this item, even if they're not building lifesteal.
This is still definitely the go-to if you're playing that more bruiser solo lane role. But for mid mages, you have a bit more play now to go either Sands of Time or Conduit Gem.
We lost 5 power in the mid lane. Whatever will we do?
Awesome. Yeah, love that situational stuff. So next up, there's Blood-Soaked Shroud nerf, and that's getting some decreased health proc.
Oh shit! Nobody even cares about the health proc.
This one too, since you just talked about Vamp.
So this one's pretty similar too. We buffed it. We changed it from like a lower flat amount to more percent-based health. Works well with like bruiser or tanky builds, and it was just providing too much efficiency when you went this. You could hit a wave with 2 abilities and get a quarter of your health back, quarter of your mana back. it's pretty impactful. So we're just taking some of the edge off that. Still going to be really valuable, way more than the previous version of Bloodsoaked Shroud, but not so dominating.
Awesome. Shout out to the Shrouds. Next up, we have the Conduit gem, and it's getting a buff with a little more magic power. How's that working, Ajax?
We're just in there always tweaking
Why did
little
Conduit
amounts of these starter items, right? I know these look like small numbers, but they can make a big difference. And we also tend to see the starter items really swing, where it's like, you know, we have one that's really popular and we nerf it a little bit, and it doesn't just go down a little bit. Seems like everyone jumps ship and starts buying this other one. So really, this is part of the Vamp Shroud, Conduit gem, and Sands of Time dance we're doing here, where we're trying to get these in a nice spot where people feel like these are all valuable options, and depending on your god or your play style, one might rise to the top. So along with that, we've already seen a lot of Sands of Time, so that one's kind of remaining, but then we're bringing down Vamp and up Conduit, trying to find that nice level point. I know we're never going to be perfectly 33 with these like you know, starter splits, but we like that there's always options, that things are always shifting, and they have big impacts on the meta too. So these are really exciting changes, and we really appreciate our player feedback and data and helping us make these decisions.
Yeah, always good to see the players come out and be like, hey, maybe this one. So speaking of maybe this, Mannequin Scepter. This is getting a it seems like there's a lot going on here. Pawn, explain.
Yeah, so this is really just for feels changes. The basics of this, how this will work is,
really doesn't change anything.
When you're jungling with Mannequin Scepter, you're trying to apply the burn so that they die with the burn on them. But sometimes, like, you can feel like they're burned, but they die, and then you don't get any health heal. Well, it's because the burn kind of fades off right at the very tail end. And so this is just adding a little bit extra forgiveness. This isn't extra damage. This isn't an extra tick. It's just there's a smaller window of forgiveness, which will make it feel more intuitive when you're using it.
Basically, your dot falls off and the thing dies, you'll still heal.
So you have to be very deliberate with your applications of Mannequin Scepter. Just a nice quality of life bump for actual early clear, like levels 1 through 3.
Awesome. Gotta love the quality of life bump. Next up is Boomba's Dagger, and it's getting a buff as well. How's that looking, Ajax?
So this one we've been seeing less of, and really the main advantage to buying this item was to be able to buy boots with it. Now you can't do that, so it doesn't really have that main goal. Really, what we're
starting to move in the right direction. Hi-Res.
Most efficient jungle clear.
You're on your way.
You want this one to be the one where you like, I need the most boost to my jungle.
I really like Boomba's right now, so this will be nice.
Stats at the beginning of the game. Boomba's Dagger is the one, so we're increasing the damage you deal to jungle camps in both the basic attacks and the abilities. Now, some people might still be worried about, can I buy Boomba's Dagger if I'm not so stoked about the upgrade? Well, don't you worry. The next balance points that Pon's going to walk us through. Pon, why don't you talk about both of those upgrades for us? We're buffing the Boomba's upgrades as well, and there's some very interesting stuff coming up here.
Yeah,
spoiler alert, we're bumping those.
Come on, Hi-Res.
So kind of hopping into the next point is, we've gotten feedback, especially from top level junglers, where they feel like some of their upgrades, they often actually just sell the starter for another option instead. Erendite, especially with its high power, passive, and some cooldown reduction, is very attractive compared to potentially going for a Boomba's Hammer.
Yeah, because no one wants just 300 HP and a full damage build. So we're looking to shift them around to make sure that they feel good to upgrade into, and to also kind of carve out a thing that we didn't really do with these starters. We're back, baby.
If you're an assassin and you're burst assassin,
we're back.
Power, you want penetration. A lot of those options don't really exist.
We're fucking back.
Mannequin's hidden
better clear and our original cooldown.
Boomba's tree didn't really offer that at all. So first things first, Boomba's Hammer, just getting a partial revert, getting some cooldown back. It's not getting the penetration back. This should be more focused on cooldown, weaving basic attacks, more your bruiser item. But Boomba's Spear is getting a huge shift.
Bruh.
No longer provides any health.
Mage junglers can go Boomba's Spear now.
Getting 10 more
and that's insane.
Power, 15 more physical power or magical power.
Bruh.
And the buff
that is like a direct
target. You get a 10%.
I mean, that's good for a lot of junglers, but that's a direct mage jungler buff too.
Kill the speed buff and then go siege the Phoenix. And for a
that's really good for
you actually get to play with that power.
So much shit,
much
dude.
more
What the
offensive
fuck?
Oriented. Something that if you are looking to burst down your opponents, you're really trying to pick off
70 power,
making this make sure that it's more attractive overall.
And 10% pen.
Yeah, with all of those words, all the time I saw increased.
That's a lot of shit to fuck around with, bro.
So I'm taking notes. I'm making new builds now.
That's insane.
Next up, we have Protector of the Jungle. That's also getting a buff, actually. How's that one looking?
This one is a series of reverts from previous nerfs, and what we often like to do is when we see an item fall out of favor, we go back to someplace in between.
Shit,
so that's kind of what we're doing here.
All right, so never mind.
One thing to note is that
the
protection increase that you get from this item is staying at 12, but we're giving it a little bit more power. a little bit percentage power from the passive, as
Junglers
well
are
as
back, baby.
the base physical and magical
Notice,
power.
bro.
Really, we want to
They
see
fuck
it
with
compete
junglers
with
so
the other
bad.
items, right? And even though
We
Eye of the
come
Jungle is
out
popular right now,
in
still
a patch
people were
and we're
selling
good,
it
but
for
we're
other
not
items.
OP.
So
They
want these to
nerf
be able to
us,
compete
so we
with other
cry.
tier 3 items,
They put
want
us
them to
back
compete
to
with
where
other
we originally
starters.
were, where we were just
Bump
good,
Spear
and
might
then
be
we're
the
all
new
happy and
go-to
everything's
power item,
okay.
but we
It's
know
all
that pros
fucking
are
mind
really
game for
onto
them,
the
I'm
Eye
telling you.
right now, and they weren't that
It's
stoked
a
about the
mental
upgrades, so
game.
we are
They're
buffing
fucking with the
both of those
junglers
as
mental
well.
regularly.
Awesome, yeah, and let's move forward with a Seer of the Jungle buff too.
Yep, so Seer of the Jungle getting a similar round of treatment, getting the extra 10 power, 15
Cyclone, I heard
power,
you
and also getting a longer duration.
had breakfast this morning. How's that looking?
This is the ward clear one, where if you clear your camp, you can actually go clear wards.
Nah, people are crying about junglers being bad right now compared to everybody else.
Initially launched was really, really short. 15, you still have you really felt the pressure to try and go clear. 20 gives you some more flexibility.
Made Seer better
helps your team
too.
come in and relieve pressure, so you can actually clear the
Dude,
wards.
Hebo jungle with that Bombas
strong potential effect.
into the Bombas spear.
So we just want to make sure that we temper any buffs with,
be pretty
with that
fucking
kind of
nuts.
understanding in mind.
Yeah, awesome, super cool. So next up we have the Gilded Arrow, getting a buff as well. It looks like a cost decrease and some basic attack power.
Yeah, so recently we adjusted
Arrow.
the whole arrow tree quite a lot, mostly through the way it earned extra gold, which is really powerful. It took people a little while to figure out, but once they did, they were like, okay, this is OP. So we took that down. That really brought the item out of favor. We don't want to fall into the same trap again by giving it too much gold, but we do want to give it
the
some
Jungler
stats
is really
to compensate.
fucking
So
good.
it's going to be a little bit cheaper
like
to buy at the
Protector.
beginning, and it's going to do a little bit more basic attack damage because I don't know, this starter item is really fun.
I gotta get in my car after
one of my
this.
favorite ones throughout the year.
I'll be on
And
tonight.
it made me sad to see it fall so out of favor. So hopefully this brings it back. I still think it has more of a specific role in a specific playstyle or specific gods, but
Xeno,
yeah, because this one's risky
7
when we
months?
see it everywhere. I think we would all agree with that. So just a nice little buff here to bring back those arrow mains.
Awesome. So brief pause. I think, Pawn, can we get a shirt reveal? I think we need a shirt reveal. People are wanting.
Oh, yeah. This is it's an astronaut holding up the globe. Just one of the shirts I have. It's like an Into the AM shirt, I think. Yeah, it's just really comfy.
Into the AM.
Like
My shirt's Into the AM as well.
My shirt's Hawaiian, even though it's not Friday.
Yeah, I just like the shirt a lot. It's really neat.
Look at
It's
how
a
well
great
dressed
shirt.
they
I mean,
all
too.
are.
The people wanted to see it. It stands out. It looks good. So we just had to, cut in for a sec for that.
Nobody in the chat mentioned his shirt at all. Oh, that's like
as well.
That's like the streamers who answer a question that was never
So we
asked
just
in
talked
their
about how
chat.
scary gold reward can be. So don't let 2 gold reward fool you on this one. This item does definitely encourage a very aggressive and different place off from other starter items, but the reward wasn't quite there. And so we think with a little bit extra gold here to incentivize that playstyle, we can see pretty heavy swings of gold off really good engagements. And so hopefully supports will feel like this is a viable
Someone
option.
asked me about my ring.
Benevolence has really been
chat.
dominating
Thanks for
that slot,
asking.
But we're also doing some other adjustments as well to try and make sure the other starters
Streamers
feel
do that a
viable.
lot.
Yeah, starters really are getting all kinds of love this time around. We
There's
also
48
have
of them. There's so many to adjust.
Yeah.
Right? That's like 2 handfuls at least. So next up we have Benevolence. It's getting kind of a shift. What's that looking like, Ajax?
Yeah, really, this is a nerf in the case of people who are using this item in an unintended way, I guess I'd say. So we're decreasing the total amount of experience and gold you earn from anything when you have Benevolence. You're just going to earn less.
Thank you for the 1 year.
However, that is going to give a little
Tempest,
bit
thank you for the 7
more
again.
to the ally. We didn't want to make this item a net negative. Like its whole goal is that it's a net positive. But people were using this too often in a solo capacity, not necessarily the solo lane, but people just buying this with no intent to share the resources with their team, just buying this item for the stats and for the golden experience, and
they're
for
gonna
the ability
fucking
to
hit what's it
upgrade
called
into some very powerful upgrades, which
they're gonna hit animosity, I bet, because in my rank games people cry about it all the time.
So this is going to be a big nerf to people not really playing true support and not staying close to their team.
Got it. Teamwork OP. You just got to stay together. That's all there is to it. So next up, Animosity getting a nerf. Looks like some decreased damage proc. Pawn, explain that.
Yeah, Animosity is definitely an interesting talking point. We've seen a few roles in very recent times. We've heard murmurs of this build coming up with
Rework
Animosity,
Ymir 3.
Why?
Why?
Rush at the end to get some really extra damage out. And This item is really meant to be kind of a fun meme. It's meant to turn completely support on its head. When it's viable on other roles and they're rushing this item, we've seen it be potentially a negative experience. We saw it very early on in the season. We just wanted to kind of get ahead of that potential build, taking it down from 4% to 3%, just making it, if you're going to go for it, it's not going to be quite as effective if you're going like a hunter trying to get some extra like chin size type damage. But if you want to play this for the memes, you still can.
Cool. I always love for the memes. I live for that. So next up we have Hide of the Nemean Lion. It is getting a buff, so shout out tanks. What's that buff look like?
Oh, here we go. So I know that this will probably create a very long Reddit discussion about this item because we can't really touch it without going there. We don't have any interest in returning to reflect damage. We just aren't planning on doing that. Whatever we feel about this item, we don't plan to return to reflect damage. So I think that the pros, Olympians, everyone has been in agreement that reflect damage was not a very fun mechanic and not a good way to counter each other.
Dude,
on an
who
item.
would have thought reflecting
However,
damage as a tank was
we have
not
had this
fucking
item
fun.
feel a little underwhelming lately, so we are reverting one of the specific things we did before, which is how easy it was to get the block stacks. Making that a little easier to get, lowering the total protections you need to get those multiple stacks. Remember, if you have more physical protections with this item, you can get more than one block stack. Also, just increasing the physical protection again. Block stacks can be really powerful. There's a lot of stuff you can do with them. It's still a very hotly debated, like, are block stacks too easily countered? Are they too hard to counter? I know there's a lot of high variance over it and a lot of discussion over this item, but we feel like just making sure that solos and supports have another physical protection option that feels a little better. That we know that's going to be good right now. We want them to have that. And especially in a high pen build, block stack with, hunters are building very high pen right now. Block stacks can be really good because it negates the whole attack, whereas building just protections only can negate part of that attack. So I do think this passive has a lot of merit and a lot of strength. Whether or not the community ever agrees with me on this one, we'll find out. So hopefully this buff helps, though.
And it's also a bit healthier to like build in this scenario too, because Shell doesn't provide block stacks anymore, so you don't have that whole like staggering shells to get block stacks, and this filled the in-between gap. Now this is really the only way for you to like generate block stacks on your own if you're not a character that can do that already. So it's also probably a bit healthier now versus previously.
Nah, Nox is doo-doo.
Yeah, and as a tank player, I love watching like the first 2 crits just roll right off. So feels good. All right, so next up we have the Bulwark of Hope, also getting a buff. Let's get into that.
Yeah, this item I don't think has been meta for a very, very, very long time, and that just even though like it has potential, it just never was quite there and always kind of off the radar. And so we think it's just time for it to get a bit of an update. So one is giving it some more magical protection, making sure its identity is very strong. But 2, also make sure that the shield has a bit more application cases. So now it'll actually scale off your percent health rather than the 150 plus 10 per level. Roughly what this means is if you're playing a purely squishy build, you're going to be a little bit weaker off. But if you're building any level of tankiness at all, the shield's actually going to be stronger. And that actually incentivizes you to build into more high health options with a very focused protection item like Bulwark of Hope.
That is going to give you a fucking huge shield.
So the next one, Stone of Foul buff. I see the word increased 4 times, so let's get into that.
This was one we recently reworked and hasn't really caught on, but we want to give more support options out there. This one's now just going to have better protection stats as well as a slightly better passive. Which keep in mind that passive does
Red God, thank you for the 37
and
months.
then multiply itself once you get it up to max stack. So you can build a lot of mitigations from this item. This item seems really strong, but people didn't really pick it up at all. So we're trying a lot of buffs here to see where is it really going to show up? Who can make use of this? How is it going to work out? Personally, I'm a support main. I think working in basic attacks into your ability rotation is a really important part of support. And this is an ability that rewards that playstyle. So
I'm good.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the different supports trying different things. Maybe Sylvanas will enjoy this item a lot.
Ooh, I've been loving Sylvanas recently, so
Athena Reach as well. Can
right. There are some really cool applications with this as well. So excited to see this item. I feel like when we launched it, there was a lot of discussion, but we didn't really actually see much usage. So excited to actually see some usage this time around.
Read 10 instead, Red God.
A lot of good room for play. So that does it for the normal items. We have a few relics that have been touched on. The first one is Bracer of Radiance, actually, and it's getting a buff not only to how it affects the game, but also to how it looks in game.
Who's moving aura? The 15%.
So Bracer Radiance, both it and its up there are going to get some buffs. But it also got some new artwork. The previous purple kind of voidy feel didn't really match the radiance feel, so now that's been updated. Looks all nice and pretty and glowy.
So radiant.
Yep.
Right.
And then you also have the increase to the movement speed aura on the base. So the idea here is we've seen
they
Bracer of
fucked
Radiance actually
with
pick up some
Seer
play.
of
People
the
have been
Jungle,
trying it out,
right?
and
Which
those
has
that do have
30%
actually
attack
succeeded
speed. Does
pretty
it still
well with
have that?
But it's not quite as popular compared to other choices. So we want to make sure that the impact that you feel when you actually utilize this relic in game is there. So the base
I didn't see
version is
where they
getting
said
the
anything
movement
about
speed
that attack
portion of it
speed.
upgraded, where the upgrade is going to get both portions, both the movement
Because if
speed
so,
aura
that
and
item
the
is
power aura are going to be stronger. So
fucking
if you drop this
cracked
in the middle
too.
of a team fight, you drop it around Fire Giant, your team's base of operations is going to be much stronger, essentially.
Yeah, it's been a fun item to use for exactly what you said, dropping in Fire Giant, or actually I use it for escaping a lot, drop it and run, but still super cool to see. And next up is similarly Sundering Spear. Both base and the upgraded version are getting a nerf, it seems.
Fuck you!
Oh yeah,
Sunder.
we've heard a lot about Sunder since the rework and the buffs and changes. We nerfed it a lot in the PTS, and we are here to nerf it again just a little bit more, focusing first on the cooldown for the base one, and then the upgrade is also decreasing the damage amplification. So we're liking that we're seeing this item as an option, but it's still a little too overbearing, and it needs to come down a bit, maybe a bit further, but we're bringing it down bit by bit because we don't want to just put Sunder back into the dirt immediately again after it finally came back, years later. I think the current design, as we worked really hard as a design team, is a lot more healthy and less frustrating than the older versions of Sunder, where people were using it to just kill each other with. It's a lot harder to do that now. It's more of a team fight relic. It has a very unique skill shot element to it. Most relics can't be missed, but this one sure can. Yeah. So definitely needed a nerf, but we're going to be careful there and keep an eye on it.
Awesome.
Fun call real quick.
Well, that does it for the items. We're getting into the gods now. We're getting into the juicy segment. And the beginning, the first god getting a nerf, you know her, and you love to see her nerfed, I guess. Tiamat. Let's talk about that nerf.
Yeah, so Tiamat saw lots of pro play for a very long time because of her split push capability, and we've done a lot since to really temper that. And since then, she's been definitely highly contested, fairly strong, but the kind of intensity of the feedback that we've gotten on her has been less, but we're still seeing her succeed. We're still seeing her overperform. So we're just looking to hit specifically Consume and Outburst. These are her tank ground stance abilities, so her Chomp Chomp and the knock-up wave that happens. Formerly known as Chomp Chomp. Just the amount of damage you can do while you're in. Yep. When the damage you could do while you're in that ground stance and you're already tankier was just too high, and so we want to make sure that if you're going to be trading your offense for your defense, that feels like you've actually made that transition, and enemies can more fight you directly without worrying about being pretty much instantly deleted. So, lower scaling here, 20% overall on that combo should help make.
That's a big damage nerf.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Next up is Raijin, and looks like the scary drummer is getting a nerf.
One of the most picked and played mages in the Pro League, as well as in the ranked queues, absolutely dominant right now. Taking down just this Raiju tick damage a little bit. Raijin is a very fickle god, as we've buffed and nerfed him. Small amounts of damage can really send him flying in lots of different directions. We recently made some adjustments to Raiju's overall kind of like effect and its durations and just the way it works, which I think were really smart. But this damage here is still really high, especially when you're hitting with the multi-hits of his ability 1. So we're just bringing this down a little bit, and specifically in the late game, you can notice it still has the same starting value of 14, but it's per tick. I believe this ticks 4 times. But it's going to be ramping down as you hit rank 5, because Raijin's late game is pretty insane as well. So I think this is the right direction for this god.
Dog shit is an exaggeration.
Cool. I'll be less afraid of him late game now. Noted. So the next one is everybody's favorite giant silly snake, Jormungunder, and getting a buff. Nothing wrong with that. How's this buff looking, Pon?
Yeah, so Jormungunder getting quite the series of buffs. We've seen him be very performative. Yeah. We nerfed him quite heavily, and since then he hasn't really ever come back from those nerfs. We've given him a few buffs here and there, but they haven't really helped him out. So we're just going to take off the Band-Aid, give him some more intense buffs than we have previously, reverting some of the previous adjustments we made when he was a bit more overbearing.
It was a Tiamat nerf, or was it?
Hopefully find that balance where he's not too frustrating. So general, increased basic attack damage all the way up from 10.4 to 11.2. This is a full revert back to his previous breath strength. We also are increasing the base damage per tick on Venomous Haze, so this is the cloud ability. Why often you can't stand it and take the full damage. If you do, it's pretty intense. This will help him mostly
less scaling ground stance?
throwing it on the totem for contention. And then finally, Consuming Bellow, we're reverting back the scaling that it used to provide for consuming different venomous hazes. So it now, instead of providing 15% scaling bonus damage, is now 30% scaling bonus damage, letting it chunk a bit harder, letting you feel that impact more intensely. As well as we're also extending the duration that you have of the empowered basic
Eerily,
attacks.
thank you for the gifted.
Breathe at full strength. You can now have that for up to 6 seconds. So pretty big buff to him, making sure that we're encouraging his unique basic attacks as well as making him chunk with that Consuming Bellow. Should overall round him out and make him a more contentious or a more competitive pick.
Whew, that was a lot.
Yeah,
big boy gets big buffs.
True, I guess so. Make sure to hydrate. All right, so next up we have Bologna. Bologna's getting a buff. Looks like to Shield Bash and Scourge. So how's that working, Ajax?
Why?
Yeah.
Why are we buffing Bologna?
Bologna has also surprisingly fallen off and just not come back. There's a couple times where we thought she might show up with some of the new itemization, the new changes to the solo meta.
I hate when Bologna's meta. It's so fucking frustrating.
We were looking back at her kit and trying to analyze, what went wrong. And we were noticing these cooldowns are really long for Bologna, likely a result of her absolutely extremely strong launch. But we bringing those down on both Shield Bash and Scourge, more so on Scourge, to help her use her abilities and use those cool weapon transformations more often, as well as just a little bit physical power scaling on Shield Bash. And I know the 10% scaling on a warrior sometimes feels like a meme, but it really does make a difference when we make that buff.
They just want Bologna to be meta again.
Generally being very intentional, that 10% scaling on an
it's
ability.
It's been like 2 years,
warrior,
right? 3 years.
It makes a difference. It really helps them in solo lane. It really helps their itemization, and I'm looking forward to seeing Bologna back on the battlefield.
Me too. I love Bologna. I love so many of her skins, so it'll be nice to see.
Why does it look like Ajax is sitting on the floor?
Next up is Amaterasu, and Ajax, I don't know if you care about.
How did we order it so I don't get to talk about Amaterasu?
You get to go about Amaterasu. You get to go.
Yeah,
it's because I threw you multiple items at the beginning. No, I mean, Pond was obviously very well equipped to talk about this change, and honestly, it's a lot of similar messaging as Bologna. One of the things that we're really excited about this buff is increasing Amaterasu's base attack speed. Amaterasu has always been kind of like a hybrid basic attacker. She's not quite Osiris, but she's not quite full ability. And we're actually going to be pushing her a little bit more towards the basic attack synergy. It works really well with her passive. It helps her build her charge on her mirror. It gives her more itemization options. So we're giving her a little bit more attack speed. That's per level. So you're going to see that add up over the scope of the match. Also, just a slight decrease on Glorious Charge. That was, again, an ability that was thought of as pretty strong during her meta phases, but now that she's fallen off a little bit, we feel like this is a safe place. And 18 seconds is just very long, even for an ability like Glorious Charges has CC and movement, still very long. So really looking forward to seeing the girl back out there and hopefully getting some picks in the Pro League again.
Well, glad to hear you're excited about it. The shirt shows. So next up, Scotty buff. What's happening with Scotty in the pup? How's that looking, Pon?
Yeah, so Scotty, one of the hunters, I think she might be on the list of hunters.
They're buffing Calder of everything?
Season. But a hunter that has high potential, but hasn't quite really been there in Season 8. And so we just want to make sure we give some buffs to her to help her better compete. So first up is Rune of the Hunt. Caldier's base attack damage is now going to go from 40% to 80% to 50% to 80%. This means while you're leveling your 1 or your Permafrost, you're going to have a bit more damage from Caldier if you control it well. But then also we're lowering the cooldown on Permafrost, her primary CC, in some cases her primary wave clear and poke, as well as her movement ability if she needs to escape. That's all coming down, so a cooldown reduction on
Those are good. Like that's a good start. I just hate when Caldier gets a buff, dude.
I think she's going to be looking walking tall in the battleground. So next up, and just I don't know why he did a Thoth buff. He's already scary and loud.
Come on.
But what are we doing? How's it working?
Thoth is a very interesting god because he never really performs very well in most metrics, but he is really scary in the right hands. He's a high skill cap god, and when players play him well, they are rewarded for it. This buff is relatively small, just looking to boost his ability. Like this Glyph of Pain has a very few specific uses. Increased bonus basic attack damage, notice, by the way. So this isn't actually buffing Thoth's ability damage, which is a lot of times what people are scared of. We're giving him this basic attack damage just to round out his lane clear and actually a little bit of his jungle clear. In Conquest, Thoth can really struggle to solo clear camps, especially the side harpies or his own red buff. Even once he gets some items online, this is a way for him to help get a little bit more damage. And hopefully not cause him to get, to the point where we are all terrified of him again, because we do not want to be pushing Thoth too hard. So a very light touch here, mostly quality of life, mostly for some specific interactions, and hopefully nothing to really shake things up too much.
Yeah, I'll be keeping my eye on Scary Bird. So next up, Baba Yaga, quality of life improvement. How is Baba Yaga main lives getting easier?
Yep, Home Sweet Home will now be able to walk over minions. The cabin
Shout
has
outs to
very
Reddit.
tall legs. Yep. They should just be able to walk over the minions, and now she can. So it's there, especially when when you're using the house, it can be hard to even see that minions are there. And so be able to walk over it makes sense. It makes sure the ultimate feels powerful, and also it doesn't. You're not punished for not being able to see past the blocking volume that is the house.
Oh, cool. I'll make sure to use that to run away.
The jungler to play when learning the role.
So next up we have Susanoo.
Right now, I would play like
Ajax,
Ravana. I would play Arachne.
Amaterasu and Susanoo getting buffs, man.
I'd play Kali. Probably play Ravana and Kali.
He's getting left out. So
Susanoo, pretty good, man.
Another one that players might have very scary memories, but I assure you, those memories are in the distant past. Susanoo's stats have been looking pretty low for quite a while now. We know how versatile this god can be, so we are being really careful. Just getting a little bit of base damage on his Wind Siphon and Jetstream, just to help him make those impacts in team fight and to help his jungle clear. This god is really at the bottom of the list right now, surprisingly so.
Yeah, I've been
want to bring him back.
His three's clear time.
Gotta be careful with Susanoo, and we will always be careful with Susanoo.
A 2 change.
Definitely a
actually
0 to
30
100
damage late game is nice.
So
next
decent
up, changes.
Artio getting a buff. How's our bear person?
I hate Artio.
Getting some nice buffs.
I literally fucking cannot stand this god, bro. It's so annoying right now.
Cooldown reduction from 12 seconds to 10. 10 is a very low cooldown ability for something that is quite potent, especially the Maul Prey ability. But also heavy charge is actually getting a charge speed increase.
What's up, Snowman? Thank you for the 7 months.
Increases your movement speed
by
by 75%, and then you charge
crazy
with that movement speed. It's going to 100%. It's not quite as intense as you might think because it has DR components towards it, but just know that she's going to be
she goes zoom
down a lot faster, and she's going to be getting her.
I hate Artio so much, dude.
Fox would be more aggressive.
I either get like Artio's unkillable and I'm getting fucking railed by an Artio,
faster Artio,
or Artio's on my team and
what to be afraid of in the bear part of Smite. So yeah. She laughing until she's running at you.
EJ,
up,
like season 6 or 5.
We have Koozabow, who's a turtle, not a bear, but still scary.
Aaron, thank you for the 7 months. DJ, thank you for the 41 months.
Watch that Nene, because it's going to be doing more damage here. Increased base damage on the throw.
NJ, there's a post somewhere on Reddit. It's old,
projectile. Koozabow has had quite an interesting balance history where he can do quite a lot of damage with his Sumo Slam, especially pushing enemies through the wave. But this ability really suffered lately as kind of a ranged poke. So we're getting a little bit of base damage as well as a little bit of scaling to help it be a better lane clear, a better support ability that he can use in the lane. Koozabow, you really never know what's going to happen with Koozabow, honestly. No, he is a very unpredictable god, but we know that we have seen him at the bottom of the charts and not very popular for a little while now, and we really looked hard to find something that we thought could bring him back up without causing too many problems, and here we are with this Nene Kappa throwing buff.
Like you said, you got to watch that Nene, because he can turn into a horror. You don't see him for 10 games, then he shows up and like ruins your whole game, so... But I'm sure he'll be good. I know people who are already excited about that buff just sitting here. Finally, last but not least, we have Nisha getting a buff. So how's Flaming Spear? Looks like it's doing better. How about that?
Yeah, so Flaming Spear gained that big cooldown reduction. Generally, you're maxing the 1 and the 3 to make sure you're getting a bit more damage out. And so you're often sitting on rank 1 of Flaming Spear. And at 18 seconds with more lower scaling on all of its components, it can feel like a stim that isn't really rewarding to pop. And so 14 seconds is going to feel a lot better, especially when you're going to get that heal more often from it. You're going to be able to box more.
That's going to be very annoying.
You're not going to feel so kind of slow on your damage output based off just having this at rank 1. So rounding out Naja, especially his boxing capability.
That shit's on like a fucking 11-second cooldown as soon as you go rush Jotun.
It's like 45 minutes or something. I don't know the exact math. But
it is a long cooldown.
Very long cooldown.
Well, not anymore. But well, not as of August 24th, when all of these balances are going to drop. So, because that actually covers the balance. We've done it. We've made it through balance. That was a lot.
Show me
Yeah.
fucking new God.
So I know. Make sure to hydrate. So if you missed any of that or want to be able to read it again for yourself, make sure to check those update notes because they're going to be going live. But all of this comes out August 24th. So you'll have some time to prepare, have some time to figure out what you're going to be doing. So next up, we're actually going to talk about something that I hear AJ might be excited about. We're bringing back the Chinese Joust Map. I actually believe, isn't this the map that launched in Season 3?
This is, and I know there's a lot of people who will be very excited for this map. I've been very closely monitoring the Joust experiment. Funny enough, the classic Joust experiment was pretty successful. We saw quite a nice little boost in gameplay numbers, and those numbers sustained for quite a while, multiple weeks, and never really dropped below what they were before. We got a little boost, and then we came back to average, which is a nice little thing to see what happens when we change up a map. Now, a lot of people were very vocal about disliking lots of elements of that classic Joust map. And I've also heard from a lot of people who were very excited to have that map back. They potentially didn't use Reddit as much as the people who dislike classic Joust, but that's fine. Either way, we always have planned on rotating through the Joust maps. And I'm really excited to bring us to the phase 2 of this experiment, where the Season 3 Chinese Joust map is going to be returning. It's going to be replacing classic Joust. It's going to be the default Joust map for both
I'm starting a fucking Slash League, and you can't stop me.
Co-op and
I'm starting a Slash League.
Ranked Duel is going to be on this map.
Competitive
as well.
Slash.
We're going to keep classic Joust.
No
as
pro
well
players
as,
or minor league
Jade
players
Joust
allowed.
Available for custom matches. We are also going to be having a set of balance changes, not nearly as many, but some smaller tweaks to balance and some bug fixing and quality of life. With classic Joust, we knew that map had a core problem that we were trying to solve, so we made a relatively big gameplay feature change. That's not really the case with Chinese Joust map. You're just going to get change to the way XP splitting works to increase the amount of XP players get on the map to make it match a little bit more like our modern maps. Outside of that, this map is mostly returning untouched.
I mean, hard to mess with a good thing, right?
Right.
Well, that is awesome. I hope y'all are excited about it. I know I am. It feels like it's been a minute since I've been able to touch into that map, and I love it. So I'm excited. So next up, we have the skins. We have some skins from 8.8, the Ceaseless Whirlpool update. I'm super excited for, so stick around, and we'll get into that in just a sec.
Is this the same old animation? They didn't even make a new animation when they bring this shit back? Imagine if Soul actually flew around. Okay.
Whew, how about that sticky note? How about that movie? Season 8, getting that map back. Welcome back, everybody. For those of you just joining, I am Titan Dandy, and we are now getting into the skins releasing in the 8.8 Ceaseless Whirlpool update, dropping August 24th. I'm actually going to be joined here by Bananimation and Brick Brack Paddywhack. Welcome, y'all, too. How are y'all doing?
Good. Good.
Hey,
you hear us?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing great. Awesome. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but y'all two are both awesome animators for Smite. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We try.
Awesome. Well, I'm super stoked to have both of y'all here. And are y'all ready to talk about some cool skins?
Yes, let's go.
Third person.
Nice. Awesome. So the first skin we're getting into actually is with the brand new Sakura chest coming with the 8.8 update. And that's going to have Sakura Android Neath. And yeah, just look at her.
What the fuck?
So pretty.
Why are we? Why more Neath skins? Why is her arm so fucking big?
The Sakura's in the background. Like it's just so awesome.
Yes.
Also kind of horrifying.
Yeah.
So
What the fuck is she doing with the arm?
So good. I love the Izanami one of this, so I'm really excited for this too.
I totally agree. I love the kind of like see-through components of the body. You can kind of see beneath them. It's so
Is that supposed to be her? Oh, it's her shirt.
Yes.
Okay.
Beautiful.
It just looks weird. Because her arm is super skinny
amazing
inside.
Skin. I love the bow too. Let's hear her voice line. Let's hear how she sounds.
Systems online. Threats assessed.
Hopefully the abilities look cool in that skin.
I think she's the threat. I think we've assessed that she is the threat. So
I mean, look
well,
at
that's
her,
awesome. Right? How could she not be? So next up, we have the Odyssey chest coming with the new Odyssey in the 8.8 update, and Draconic Devastator Thanatos. Look at him and be scared a little bit, probably.
Fuck?
Yeah, definitely. This is.
Please look good in game. Please don't just be cool card art. Please.
A dragon, there's like bone wings, looks kind of like a crypt. A scythe, but with teeth on it, like has needed to be scarier. Ooh.
That is so cool.
It looks good.
Too.
The colors are kind of garbage compared to the card art, but it looks good.
Guess I'll learn to play more assassins.
Right? I know all these skins come out and
the fucking wings are sick.
I love the like segmented green between all the bones too. It looks so good.
Yeah. Super cool.
Absolutely fantastic. And the like purple armor. I'm super in love with it.
That's gonna be a fun skin to play.
Awesome. Well,
please have a good animation on the one.
Sounds like. Let's hear him.
I stand for the order.
Looks like he floats for the order too.
Hey.
And probably throw scythes for the order as well. Ooh. All right. Well, that is super awesome. I'm horrified of seeing him float above me in game. And now we're into the Odyssey event. And the first part of the Odyssey event is Mystic Magus Ra. And oh no, he's hot.
Yeah.
Like
help.
Yeah, right. Check out the abs, looking so good. This is actually, I have a note. This is Ra's first human skin, which is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you can take him in a look he's never had before into the battleground, and I love like the way his back has that like floating circle. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
I love these lines of skins.
The WoW Thanatos skin?
I totally agree. These lines of skins are great. Let's hear what his voice line sounds
the
like.
skin's cool, but
I see what
is,
much. What was, and what shall be.
Hey, me too, and I just do it with my 5-head, bitch.
If you listen to them, together we shall triumph.
Wow, he sounds calm and sure of himself. That's awesome. So this next skin, one that I've been so excited to see, we have Neith's biggest fan, Zhonghui.
Yes.
And, look at it. I'm so in love. It's so like there at the event, cosplay ready, killing it in his lane, like so good.
Oh,
what the fuck?
I love the people in the background of the Carter. It's so good.
I love the all the peace signs. I love it. Plus, what a nice smile. Zhonghui has such a
Oh my fucking goodness, dude.
Oh, this is so good.
No
the only thing that confused me about it is I thought Titan
bro.
Cupcake was Neith's biggest fan. I've seen how many stars that she has in Smite,
no.
but I guess Zhonghui is even better, even more devoted.
What in the
such a great looking
fuck?
skin. And actually, I've heard that this skin has a new intro to match Neith's intro.
Look at his beard.
So, obviously, if you're going to cosplay, you got to know the moves. So, and there are a lot of Neith sound effects in this as well that they're really going to show through. So, let's hear the voice line.
What do you mean? I'm Neith. Do you not recognize me?
I love that so much, and yeah, I do recognize you because you're really good at cosplaying. So that is so awesome. The next one is Valhalla Vice Heimdall, and just check out the style.
Oh, no,
so stylish. Fun fact: the guy whispering in his ear is actually saying "You rock." So, just a fun fact for y'all.
They just hired someone just to do that for them.
Yeah, right? I'm thinking about it. I haven't found anybody yet, but oh yeah, look at how awesome that looks. I love the gilded axe, the way the axe looks.
Skin is super clean.
Awesome.
So
that is
freaking cool.
The axe is kind of weird. I wish they'd changed up his weapon. Just something completely different.
Hunter
a little
right there.
crime, a little money, and a whole lot of fun.
That does seem like a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a crime that he isn't here right now, because I need that suit. That's so awesome. All right, so the next one, another one, just so many things I'm so excited about. We have Malworm Jormungunder, and I am just so excited about this.
Fatal error.
Hardest part of my job is not just blabbing about everything all the time, and this is one of them. Super great skin. Super
This has potential to be a 6 skin, dude.
A community concept from Jay Alejo. I'm terrible at pronouncing things, but it's, again, thank you so much for this concept. Everybody's so excited about it. And,
What the fuck?
Oh, look at how good that looks. And the glitching. Yeah, it looks so good. I absolutely love it. The horns are great. All the fatal errors.
This skin is fucking broken.
Oh, that's so good.
What?
I'm again, every time they release skins, I find a new main. Usually it changes 3 times an update. So
I'm right there with you.
Oh, super great. That is
okay.
I love
This
it.
skin is
Let's
one of the craziest
voice line sounds like
pay-to-win looking skins I've ever seen before in Smite. That is sick.
Choose from. Which should I infect first?
But that's okay.
Well, Malworm, you have infected my heart, so don't worry about that.
Your heart.
Right.
Motherfucker's gonna pop up out of the ground, and you're not even gonna see him.
An opposite. That's horrifying. Next up, we have a cutie, Kiro Don Zaboro. And
oh my god, yes.
Yeah, everybody's
favorite frog. Yo, someone was just crying in my chat about a Dan Zaboro skin. There you go, bitch.
I totally agree.
Big crybaby. That's a sick skin too. That's a fucking sick skin.
Oh, it's so good.
His
little feet,
chunky fingers, and his little... Oh, I love him. Let's take a listen to the voice line.
That's a good skin.
Another journey filled with danger and the unknown. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I would not have it any other way, and thank you. He has so much going on with this, and actually, we're gonna dive into game with Pond to check this one out. So let's check it out.
Oh my gosh.
I love how light on his feet he always looks. A super pretty skin. His abilities, some of his abilities involve lily pads, I've heard. Yeah, look at him floating in there. And then, oh, so good. They got the coins, and the gun is so pretty. Oh,
the rocket.
Oh my God.
It's like a fish, like his gun.
It is like a fish. Yeah, I love how it comes out as a little kite.
Yeah.
Oh.
Beautiful.
So good.
I love it.
I love all the watery sound effects too. It's just, what a great skin. That armor is so
play more
cool.
Danza.
He turns into, look at all the lily pads and the little flower.
That's so cute.
Absolutely amazing. I'm so excited for this one. All right, but the next one. The next one's what I'm most excited about for obvious reasons.
Boy.
We have Toon Mania Cthulhu coming at you.
What?
Yes. Oh my god.
I can't be excited about this enough. Cthulhu's T5. I could probably do a whole show on him alone.
Fuck?
Look at him.
What?
His knobby knees. Look at how excited he is.
His butt.
Look at
his butt gets me.
Every time. Every time. Let's hear his voice line. Let's see what he has to say.
The world, it's mine for the taking.
Well, you can have it. You've earned it. Look at you. So this actually, part of this T5 is that he has 4 different characters, 4 unique characters. There's the base, which we just saw. There's the Aviator, which we're looking at now, and we're also going to see 2 more as we go on: the Sheriff and the Greaser. But let's continue hearing these voice lines. So let's hear the voice line here.
Trust me, you don't want to see me go crazy.
Did you just say this is the worst tier 5? This is fucking sick.
The laugh is so good. I think I do want to see him go crazy.
This is fucking awesome.
I love how his tentacles are a mustache.
Just think about what Cthulhu's actual skin is.
Oh, what a great skin. Just all right. Let's hear voice line 3. I can't. Let's hear him. Let's go.
Why settle for less when we can be whoever we choose?
This is sick.
I think he's getting crazier every
Cthulhu.
time.
I never played Cthulhu. This is sick. This is sick.
And finally, we have the coolest Cthulhu on the block. We have the Greaser. I love the hair. I love the sunglasses. Like, so much style. So many good styles so far with all these different skins. I love him so much. I cannot wait to be all of them. Let's
be the change you want to see in the world. Get it?
Oh, that's so good. So yeah, like I was saying, he has 4 unique characters, and these are based on his abilities. Let's go in game and let's see it a little closer. How about it?
Yes.
Oh, look at him.
Bruh.
Look at the walk.
He's got a jaunty walk, yeah.
He does. He demands attention. If that came walking at me down lane, I'm like, I'm happy
This
and
is
also
super fucking cool.
So
That's
again,
awesome.
there's so many great things to go over, but his abilities are what changed his outfit. So as you use his different abilities, you're going to swap into these different outfits, and you're going to stay that way until you use your next ability.
What?
I love that. I love the cannon. I love such so much good work went into this.
This is the best skin
you
in
see
Smite.
the plane with the dash.
And they put it on fucking
turns into the
Cthulhu,
full
bro.
Aviator character.
I don't know if I'm hyped or sad.
His 2, he turns into the cannon.
This is the best tier 5
so
that
many
these
good
had
things.
Since like tier 5s became a thing.
But one of the cool ones is actually his ult, which y'all haven't seen yet. So let's
These
see
abilities
him get
are
scary after
actually
he's
fucking
finished,
awesome.
with his biplane tour of the jungle. Uh-oh. There's another Cthulhu.
Holy
Look at that.
fuck!
That is so horrifying.
I love the noise.
That is the best skin in Smite. Smite has the best skins out of every video game ever. You can't smell my balls.
Based on, you know, old animation.
Smite's dropping the best skin that any video game has ever fucking had.
Really based on that old cartoon style with the sound effects
This
and
is
the way
sick.
that the skin all looks itself. Super awesome. But there's so much more to this skin than meets the eye. He has a lot of cool animations, which I've already seen, but he also has really cool victory and defeat screens. In death, he actually turns into a skull and crossbones. And
I'm actually like really. It's pretty sick that Hi-Res finally evolved.
You know, not that it's good to like die in game
into something new for their tier 5s. Like it's
so,
same concept-ish, but it's new. Look at that shit. This stuff is dope.
And his little ghost. I love it too. The little swervy back and forth. So good.
And this is on a better
I hear he also has a
god.
pretty neat. Yeah, I was about to
That's
say
the only way
recall
we get any
animation
better.
is great. And he has a really cool VXG for getting back to lane and style.
Yes.
The VXG is the
Let's see how that looks.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Got the Cthulhu mobile. Now, there are so many things I love about this, but yeah, that's my favorite. When you back up, he throws his arm back, looks over the. It's so good.
I think
like,
you can
what a
honk the
stylish
horn
car.
too.
You can, yeah. When you jump and press space, he honks the horn. But look at how like it's so alive and anime. I love it so much. So the audio team, shout out to our audio team for this.
Yes.
They spent a lot of time just talking about, you know, the classic 50s cartoons, the sound design, and how incorporating that with this skin would make it feel really good and showcase kind of all that it has. It's Now, one of the other notes that I have about this is apparently when you're under the influence of his passive, Insanity, he actually becomes black and white, like an old-fashioned cartoon. So there are so many different parts. There's so many moving parts to this skin, and I think we might be able to have this enemy Cthulhu show it off for us.
Yeah, there's like a little song that happens too. It's really cute.
Yep. So, and look at that. He becomes black and white, just like in the old cartoon. It's so cool. That's just yeah.
This
all
is
the little,
fucking awesome.
little animated eyes. Like, I hate to say that I want to have that passive on me, but you know, I'm not dodge the skill shot. Man, this is so cool. And yeah, this is going to be to get that skin. If you do the buy all in the Odyssey, you're gonna have that skin immediately as soon as you hit buy all. So it's definitely. I mean, I know that I'm gonna be doing it. It'll hurt and all that, but it's gonna be so good. I'm super excited about it. So thank y'all too for hanging out with me.
Yeah,
it's been fun. The skins are super awesome. I'm so excited about it. But I think it's time. I think it's time we get into Charybdis.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Thank you,
There once was a girl who lived in the sea. She's born from the depths. She'll never be free. And every fish, each creature and man who laid eyes on her was not seen again.
Mother, it's only a story, right?
Right! Right! On the right!
at me.
I think audio is delayed.
And now, your story ends.
Their audio is a little delayed.
Whew. That's every time I watch that, I get chills. I am so excited. Welcome back, Ajax, and welcome, Clumsy. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm really excited. We had some amazing things, the Cthulhu skin, but now it's time for some Charybdis.
Now it's time for some Charybdis. Couldn't have said it better myself. So that's Charybdis. There's so much to talk about. Let's just dive right into it with kind of the lore and the theme. Lay it on me. Let's go.
Clumsy, why don't you give a start on the background, and then let me I'll talk a little bit more about how Charybdis translates into the Smite universe at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. So Charybdis is the child of Poseidon, and there was a fight back in some time where they were up against Zeus, and because of that fight, they ended up losing. Zeus actually cursed Charybdis to become a gigantic, whirlpool creature that would suck up into tides, 3 times and a day, and there was lots of stories between the Odysseus and with the Argonauts where they had to choose between sailing in the strait between Scylla or Charybdis. I think if you looked at the Closer Look blog, there was a lot of analogies that came up from that situation, and usually those sailors were kind of doomed either way. If they went too close to Scylla, well, she would get them, and if you get too close to the whirlpool in Charybdis, well, you're probably going to be doomed for a similar fate there.
So as we're bringing Charybdis into Smite, we're realizing a lot of different decisions need to be made. There's a lot of different ways to work with this character. We really felt like the strongest bit of her mythology was how she's always referred to with Scylla and Charybdis. Right. All of the stories where she's described, they always describe her together. So we wanted to design her in a way that matched Scylla and made them feel like a dynamic duo, that made them feel like fitting together. So Charybdis is a young child, but she actually appears like a young child, is like a daughter of Poseidon, but she's actually hiding her cursed arm underneath her royal cloak that is actually a giant maw with an insatiable appetite or thirst for seawater, who is never satisfied, and he is ready to chomp up some gods on the battleground. So we really like to think of the maw as that aspect from mythology, that giant-mouthed creature that she's hiding, she's concealing. That is what was swallowing the seawater for years and for centuries. And she was trapped. Obviously, Scylla and Charybdis are often thought about as powerful characters, but they also were kind of like locked away. And now she's freed, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why we see her in the cinematic leave her
she's a hunter. She's a physical hunter.
Swallowing ships.
But she's shorter range than a normal hunter.
Face to face. She's ready to get her hands dirty. She wants to get out there and make her mark on the battleground. Specifically, she's got vengeance towards Zeus, who had cursed her to this fate for so many centuries, right?
Oh, yeah. I bet.
And a lot of different thematic elements were all coming together. We liked the idea of, here you see her. This is her idle animations where the maw comes out and she interacts with it in various ways. You'll also see it coming out and interacting in various ways with her abilities. But we thought it made sense to see her be freed by Tiamat. Tiamat, the mother of monsters. And Charybdis, a child maybe no one could love, except for Tiamat, right? That seems like a perfect fit. Tiamat, who is, all of her children are monsters, so Charybdis is not anything shocking to her. The dagger mechanic also came with Charybdis. We were initially thinking hunter. We've always wanted a hunter. We had talked about a lot of different ways to realize this, but we wanted her to have a weapon to help signify that. The face and the mouth they put on the wall is sick.
That's really cool.
And we designed the daggers in a way that is referencing tooth from or bone, as if these all of her daggers, you could imagine, are the countless teeth that the maw has shed like a shark over the years. He just sheds teeth and grows new ones, and Charybdis fashioning them into her weapon. There's just so much detail and connectivity between her lore and her art and her style and her gameplay, as well as how she fits on the battleground. Like I feel like we could talk about this one topic.
Smite
forever,
lore, bro. That's just lore in general.
I'm so glad we're seeing her model and her animations right now. And we have to see, of course, her abilities.
Absolutely. How about we do that? Pawn, can you can take it away and show us everything. All right, let's see it all.
Is it the red? Thank you, the red for the sub. Okay, autos. Ooh, wait, what?
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Wait, why is this giving off jungler vibes?
Oh. So good.
What?
There's
it pushes
it.
What?
Oh,
so much.
I know it resets.
Broken.
What
yeah,
is that
so
push into this? What?
These one at a time.
I agree. Well, let's dive right into it then. How about the passive Raging Tides?
Yeah, Kryptos' passive is Raging Tides, although I also want to really quickly bring about her basic attack chain, which I know we didn't add into this, but it's pretty important. It's honestly what makes Kryptos really unique too, is that she has a unique basic attack chain where the third firing from Kryptos is actually split into 3 lighter basic attacks.
Shit.
So you can see here, every time she gets to the third one, there's actually even a little audio cue as well as a small animation tell. She fires 3 hits, 3 daggers that are all doing a third.
That's really cool.
Damage. But they do all proc in-hand effects.
That is a real... Wait, each procs kins?
At a reduced damage amount.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna get to. I was gonna pull ellipsis there. So
don't scare them like that.
Okay, so it's reduced.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, bro.
That's the passive.
But yeah, that'll charge up like an oboe really fucking fast.
Where there is the positive effect, obviously it is an ability, it's her passive. Where Kryptos actually, just like her father Poseidon, we wanted to have some nods, like we talked about in the Closer Look blog. She gains tide with her basic attacks, and in this case, she actually gains attack speed as her tide increases, and her abilities can spend it in different ways. But as we noted, item damage is reduced by 35% on Kryptos to make sure that the procs from her basic attacks aren't 10%. Too insane. Believe me, at 100%, she was really doing a lot of damage.
She gets a lot of attack speed. Holy shit!
Yeah, only being able to buy chins and Odipo. Well, now honestly, while an attack speed build is good,
yeah, this motherfucker has 2 attack speed items, and he's at 2 attack speed.
It feels pretty strong.
This basic attack hit chain is super awesome. It feels really good to use.
I'm just saying, it's giving off jungler vibes.
Tested that in.
Yeah,
giving off jungler vibes, boys.
The 3 dagger toss is just so fun looking. I'm excited. All right, so how about the first ability? How about we talk about Spike Shot?
Yeah, so Spike Shot is a basic attack stim where Kryptos finally, reveals the moth. It comes out, and she gets to fire spikes from it for a short duration. The basic attacks in this, because these are actually dealing basic attack damage, they're slightly wider and they fire slightly faster. So projectiles are slightly faster as well.
Wait,
they pass through minions, and on hitting any god or wall, they actually splinter in several fragments. Those fragments are bonus damage, and they're not basic attack damage, and they'll deal extra damage to the god hit as well as anyone in the vicinity.
That is super awesome. I can already think of all the different ways that can be fun to use, like in the jungle, like bank shots and stuff.
The splits don't crit though. It doesn't look like they're all hitting for 41.
Has a lot of has a couple
the splits
different themes going on here. So we have, of course, we're trying to work in using the monster, right? So we have, like we talked about, her daggers being carved from tooth. This is shooting something more literally, a spike
this is a jungle
from the
boy,
monster.
sorry.
But you're also seeing
Hunters.
a lot of water mixed in here. So as a whirlpool goddess, we have a lot of aquatic nods. So you're seeing some watery effects along with this, and you're going to see more of that coming up in future abilities. And this ability, allowing it to pierce through minions, is a strong effect for lane clearing, and something you might be kind of comparing to someone like Rama, who can pierce through the minions with a basic attack stim.
Yep. But we do actually recommend, especially with testing, that you probably, the recommended level order is actually the 2, which is coming up next, because if any enemies do want to, just body block it, it's kind of got like the old on her effect, it will stop on the god. And also, to make sure it's not too overpowered, especially with the passive attack speed, it does have minion hit reduction applied, that actually goes away as it ranks up. So at level 1,
yeah, it's a really new type of balance effect.
Reduction. Yep.
Got it. Now, correct me if I'm seeing this right, but this is a duration-based ability, meaning
scaling
that if you get
minions?
to fire more spikes, the more attack speed you have.
Exactly. That's a really key point,
jungler is
actually,
insane.
Even with her passive,
Flame would be decent,
games,
but
that's another
jungler is
reason
gonna
why
be
we
instant.
tend not to rank it early. You're not going to be actually doing that much because your attack speed's pretty low. But as you gain items and as you gain more levels, that ability actually becomes way, way stronger, even without any extra points being put into it.
That's
a bit of a 1-point wonder,
awesome.
You could say.
You don't level the 1 in the lane in the jungle.
Awesome. Well, let's move to the second ability. Let's check out Capsize.
Yeah, absolutely. So Capsize, is a little bit of a unique ability where it starts off as a smaller cone, and the more you channel it, the more it actually gains in width. So that it's more like the cone angle itself is growing. And Kryptos is absorbing water from the area around her before firing it again from that maw. Enemies hit are applied with a really large but rapidly decaying slow and physical protection debuff. And if you channel for longer, obviously you're getting a longer lifetime and a longer potency to that debuff effect, but it does take Tide. So you can see right here, upon turn off his energy cheats, so he's actually unable to fire
you have
any
no passive
larger
if it doesn't charge.
radius,
That's sick.
that width.
And this is symbolic of Charybdis drinking up the water for all the years, right?
Yeah.
So in this ability, the maw hidden under her cloak is drinking in the water and getting ready to then projectile it out at enemies.
You said it's
this
not
is
a
really good
knockup, but the next ability is.
You'll want to use this before you follow up with your basic attacks in many cases. But I would also like to point out that this ability does not hit further than 55 units away. Her basic attacks are the normal 55 unit range. Her 1 is the normal 55 unit range, and the 2 is also a little bit shorter than that. So she doesn't actually have a long-ranged poke ability on a hunter, which is a very interesting playstyle. You kind of have to get very close, or you have to stay right at that 55 range to play Charybdis optimally. And her next ability doesn't really afford her any range either, but it does complement that type of playstyle in a very interesting and powerful way, and of course in a very satisfying way to those players out there who are wishing that you could be just a giant whirlpool. We have something for you ready to go.
Well, why keep teasing them with it? Let's show off Whirlpool form. Let's let them see the monster, the Whirlpool.
So we knew people would want to see a Whirlpool. We knew people would want to see more of the monstrous maw. So we kind of designed this ability to be, you know, really highlight those themes as well as give you this feeling that you're all, you know, you've got similar. You have a similar approach, like AJ was saying, where you are incentivized for going in. So this ability is a toggle ability. You can only toggle it once, however, and it does take Tide in doing so. So it's kind of like a mix between Pele and Jormungunder, where if Charybdis just uses this ability, she's dealing damage to any enemies in the vicinity. But if she actually presses it again to spend that Tide, she moves even faster and does more damage in that area, and also does a knock-up effect, which is really integral actually to her gameplay, especially when you're trying to be aggressive.
Yeah, like I mean, it's scary because you burn your escape if you use that to engage, but with that speed boost and the knockup, there's so much potential for really getting into your enemy with that.
Now, this is a very powerful movement ability and also a very unique one, and one we kind of wanted to try out in Smite for a long time because of its untargetability. Lets her evade a lot of powerful things. Lets her get out of a lot of trouble. But also doesn't move super fast.
How long does it last?
You know, or go super far or react super quickly. So if your enemies are just prepared and tracking you really well, they'll prepare to ambush you as soon as you exit.
Yeah, it's 3 seconds long.
But it was just too perfect with this kit and the visuals of being a Whirlpool and what type of gameplay would fit with the Whirlpool. It all worked together so well on design, visuals, and theme. Like, I'm so glad we were able to bring this aspect of the kit to this goddess. I mean, no people were really looking forward to this kind of visual element, and we wanted to make sure we had a way to honor that.
And to note as well, it's a very potent ability in the fact that you can use this to either engage or disengage. It does have a pretty long windup.
Yeah,
so
she's
she has this
untargetable in
entire
her
time
3,
where
but
she's
her 3 lasts 3
diving into
seconds.
the ground, which is about 0.5 seconds. And during that time, you can stun her out of it. You can stop her from using this ability and try and lock her down. You'll definitely notice that it's not the easiest to just freely escape, but if you're given enough ample opportunity, then you definitely can get away from some serious hands.
Did you mention the warm-up time too?
That's what I was just saying. 0.5 second warm-up time. Yeah.
As a jungler.
Yeah, that warm-up time. Sorry, I was still trying to understand if we were talking about the warm-up time or like the exit
all you
state.
soul
Yeah, that
ladders that
warm-up
gank
time
you
is
and you
no
get out with
joke.
1
I've gotten
health.
trapped a few
I'm coming
times
for
in
that ass,
playtesting,
bitch.
thinking I could get out of things a little too quickly, but the warm-up time, a well-timed
You're done. It's just like Danza when you're untargetable and you're in the fucking 3.
Too deep in.
Same
Once you do
shit.
exit
I'm
out of
diving your ass.
someone can save their CC for right when you come out and get you that way too.
And while you can go underneath player-made deployables, you cannot go underneath geometry. So that's another big thing. She doesn't have like a leap or a teleport, right? So if you are being ganked and you're in the middle of your lane, you may not be safe just going to your tower.
Honestly might be really easy to kill as a soul
like
ladder.
a leap over into the jungle instead. So
she might be as an ADC. If she's ADC, she might be.
Yeah, but that is super worth noting. That, you know, Ymir throws a wall or Odin drops an ult, and if you have that ability up, you can just skulk right out under it.
Yep.
Which is super awesome.
Very evasive.
Yeah, and I agree that it looks super good. If super good means like terrifying and toothy. So
I think the
that's
3 is
awesome.
untargetable, but not
excited about trying
out
to
of the
chase
map.
that.
You know,
So
like it's
let's
not
get into
Yorm
the ult.
ult, it's
Let's
like
check out the Maw
Yorm's
Hungers.
3 or whatever. Yorm's 3. You can still get stunned and
Yeah, I just
eaten
kinda
by
wanted to
abilities.
see
You can't be
it.
targeted.
before
Yeah, let's
do it.
She's not immune.
do it.
There we go.
Oh,
All right,
it
so
brings out the Maw.
just like how Kryptos had, that passive that kind of alluded to her father, Poseidon, we wanted to do something very reminiscent, her spiritual sister of Scylla. We wanted to have this similar kind of ability where you do a large chunk of damage, but utilizing this awesome creature of hers. And of course, you can see you've got the killer reset that Scylla has. So Kryptos has that as well. So what's happening here is, Kryptos is really revealing her true nature, being immune and
so
moving
it does
faster
damage
as
on the
well.
push
and
and
she
on
actually
the
has a
slam.
rectangle component that you can aim as the player, which will push enemies that are caught in that towards the cone, towards the center of the
she
cone.
can play in the ADC,
and in
of
that
course.
cone, you're going to be dealing a heavy amount of damage and actually
But
stunning.
I don't know how
which is
good
a
she'll
different
be as an
component that Scylla has,
ADC.
but as a hunter, this
With
ability is
no-
actually not
actually,
the
she'll probably
easiest
be
to use.
fine.
We have found in playtesting, and just while designing her, that
This
if you're
gives
a,
off
a
jungle
long-range
vibes, though,
mage
bro.
like Scylla, firing something over a wall is pretty easy.
Gives
This ability
off
you can't
jungle
fire
vibes.
through walls because of that net component. And if you're not careful, the enemy can just sidestep it or beads or Aegis, and then it
She
just
doesn't
fire
hit for
back at you.
10k.
So adding that stun component
like,
to utility has been
normally.
very, very helpful. And sometimes using this ability as an
You won't be getting
engage
hit by
rather than
10K
like,
in your
the
game- for
final
10K
hit
in
has
your
actually
games.
been more helpful, depending really on whether your team can set off the CC beforehand for you or not.
Yeah, wow, it's just so impressive to watch because how amazing the monster looks. Oh, and that's cool. You can choose the distance you want. So you can literally cast it like the bite right in your face. That's
Exactly.
awesome.
So the closer you do fire this ability, the faster it comes out, which is also really important because at the max range distance, it isn't actually the easiest ability to hit. Enemies can
It's
just
not.
kind of
It really is
patch
not.
notes, the paper patch
And I
notes
know
out.
people, there's probably a lot of people out there who think they're masters at Smite, and some of you maybe are, but a lot of you are not. And when the time comes, we will see how this works. How good people are at hitting it. We think this is a very high risk, high reward ability. It can be really strong when the enemy team is not really paying attention, or if you catch multiple people with it, especially because of the CC. Like I remember having
it's
just like the
700
experiences,
damage
Clumsy
flat
described.
plus
I remember having
150%
experiences in
scaling for the
playtesting where I
bite.
tried to use it in a one-on-one scenario.
So
missed or
he's
got
got
beads, and the
fake
other
power
hunter
right now.
punished
He's
me for it
10,000
by
power.
killing me. And I also remember coming around the corner in a
Realistically,
jungle
you'll
and hitting
probably
like
have
3
like
enemies
what
on the team
400 power,
with it, who all had their
350
beads
late
down and
game,
swinging a whole team fight.
like late game 400.
It's very akin to Scylla, and it also
you'll be
it's
hitting
just
for
very important
like
for us to show her Maw,
1300, 1200, 1300 with the slam,
truest
with the bite.
full-size large form where it's
The
just
charge
really
will be hitting
impressive and
for
scary,
like
and
300.
That's what this ability is really.
So if you hit a charge into a
that
bite, you're
moment
hitting for
right at
like
the end of the
1800
Kryptos
damage.
cinematic where the Maw is just flying at you. That is the Maw coming at you and it's about to bite down.
That's so exciting, and
And it
I don't know. I
doesn't
really love that you get to
Ichball.
choose the range because like. That means, if you're engaging on somebody,
Dude,
if you did
honestly,
it full range, you
this
pushed them
team is
away,
like
that's so far
super
away, you could
assassin-esque,
ruin an
bro.
engage.
Yeah, you
being
can
able to
absolutely
kill
use
them
it as
Insanely
disengage,
assassin-esque.
right?
Yeah, there's so many ways you can use it. And it's obviously horrifying. So
The only thing that's not
super,
assassin-esque
super awesome. Is there anything
about
else
it
that
is
y'all
the
wanna
lack
see
of
in
fucking
game?
super hard CC.
For me, I
we
think
have
that's pretty much it.
additional animations, waves, claps, emotes.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Taunts and stuff.
Recall. We have mastery skins as well.
But yeah,
we're
gameplay-wise, I
ready
think
to
we
see
covered
those.
pretty much everything.
Depends on how easy
Awesome,
she is
well,
to
then let's
gank. She'll
check
be
out
playing
the-
the
let's
ADC
check
all
out the
day
mastery colors.
for
Let's
sure,
look at
but
that.
I'm gonna have fun playing this in the jungle.
Thank you, Pawn, for driving. Oh, that looks good.
Yeah,
I
that
love
guy
the
is
pink.
scary.
Maybe lack of
yeah, and the
super
guy-
hard
Even
CC.
in
She
this
has
color,
no
he's
stuns.
scary.
Her knockup is an int. She has to be in the middle of the fight
and
to do
I
a
love,
knockup. She
so
has
for
no
those
hard
of y'all who might
CC.
not have noticed,
Legend
but,
troop. What are you
the
talking
eye
about?
colors are different. So there's
Yes,
a
that's
normal
right.
eye color, and then the eye color that matches with the eyes of the Maw. So to kind of show, that half is corrupted or cursed by the Maw. So just another really
Exactly.
cool thing that they added. It's so great. I love it.
We also have that gem on her shoulder is swirling
Great,
like
her
a
ult
whirlpool
stuns.
contained
So you're
within
gonna
it. You
ult
can see it here in the
every
card
to,
right here.
to fucking do
A
every
nod
single
to her
fight, every
love
gank,
of
and just stun people. Come on, man.
history.
Your regular abilities have no
so absolutely
CCs.
beautiful. I love the green, like the contrast between the orange hair and the green cloak. Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like Ajax was just saying, the gem on the side with the whirlpool is so amazing to look at. Like so much.
Just a lot of
so much
details
see.
to bring the whole theme together.
Whoa.
I mean, she's gonna have a lot of potential builds. She's gonna be sick for sure.
It's so like she wears the gold so
man.
well. Like, that stance. Oh, the teeth are golden.
Yeah, I was just you can't like help but look at those, right? Stare at the golden teeth.
I think their version of lower range on her
really is
wasn't
rocking this,
autos.
like,
It
she's so
was
regal.
some no
She
long
wears
range
these colors
abilities,
so well.
which really should have been noted.
Contrast there.
This is always one of my favorite masteries. Is this color scheme? It looks great on Charybdis, just like it does on every other god.
It really does. The maw looks so
I have Diamond Fafnir, and I still play Legendary Fafnir instead because I just love the Black Dragon. Like,
yeah, her 2 is like, what was it, 50 units?
I don't know though. Diamond's looking
this
good.
Is default again. This is default.
Oh, this is default. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No
we
diamond.
Went back to default. They psyched this out for a second, thinking of going in order.
True.
And I did see some players mention that Charybdis' default kind of has a little bit of a mastery color, but I think we've shown that the masteries feel very different from this default. And in the diamond, you would see the diamond, the maw would be very bright white. His teeth and his skin color would be much more teal and reflective.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure why we made that mistake. We looked like we copy pasted over the wrong video or so, overwrote the wrong one, but we could definitely, those will all be available in PTS for you to take a look at. And just big shout outs to the art team and the tech team, animation team specifically. Charybdis is no easy feat. Like doing the maw and the girl, it's almost like doing 2 gods at once. It is a huge task for our team to come up with something like this and to make it work. And the amount of scaling it has, the way it can change size, which is just, part of its power is it can change size. That's not uncommon thing for sea creatures to be able to do. Inflate and deflate themselves. That's what the maw can do as well. And just the team working around that, working around the cloak, how they hide away the monster. It's really, really a technical marvel, and the team put a lot of time and effort into making it all look so clean and smooth as the final product.
Yeah, I mean everything down to the sounds too, because I've even been told that the sound, there's so many little like sound effects and bits from actual sea creatures, including even like dolphins and whales. They really they took the sea and like compressed it down and like Charybdis.
I'm so glad you made that mention, Danny, because the audio designers are often the unsung heroes of the video game world. No ability in the game feels good on mute. You need the sound. Like animation and effects and design, we do work hard. We are an important aspect, but the sound, that is a super important aspect. And we know that from dev testing that when you don't have good temp sounds on your abilities during the early phases, people get confused, people get lost, people can't tell what's going on.
Absolutely.
Audio is so important. And
did they remove Morgan Fear? No.
This character
45
and these skins as well.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and all of y'all should be excited too. PTS is going live Friday, so make sure that y'all get in there and try this out. Make sure y'all let us know how you feel about it. Again, I'm infinitely excited about seeing Charybdis really hit the battleground and start to wreak havoc. We have Scylla's been doing it forever. Now partner in crimes here with her monster to show us why we should continue to be afraid of stuff from the Mezzanus trade.
I just love the idea of the DPS on a team, the 2 core DPS being these little girls that both have this terrifying monster that's going to just deal tons of damage and just
throwing a Poseidon in the jungle as well.
Thinking about both of them just pursuing Zeus just to beat him up for what he did in the past. Like, love that idea. It's like, it's really cool to finally see them fighting side by side in the battleground. And especially in your arena and Joust and Clash comps, you can see them fighting together from the very beginning of the game. In Conquest, they'll have their own lanes for a little while, but when they make those rotations and ganks and fight together, it really is a magical experience.
Oh yeah, their ults in tandem are going to be something to watch for, and I'm sure we're going to see some plays come out of that, no doubt. So either way, that's been the update show. It's super awesome. Make sure that y'all look into the Season Pass 2021. That's how you're going to get that Ascended skin. That's how you're going to get all the custom recolors for or the limited recolors for Season 8 things. But yeah, we went over a lot today. I am drained. There are so many good things. My hype levels were like here for like, I don't know, 2 hours or something, hour and a half.
Don't forget PTS on Friday.
Exactly. Make sure that you're
you
there
want to get the first look to get and gameplay playing Charybdis before she goes live. You can play her on Friday when the test server goes up. I know that a lot of streamers will be and people do custom games at that time. So put that on your calendar and get ready to go check her out. Let us know your feedback. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, because she'll be hitting the regular battleground August 24th. So it might seem like a long ways away, but it'll be on us before you know it. So really do let us know in PTS what you love.
What up, Big Al?
Other than that, Clumsy, Ajax, thank y'all guys so much for being here today. And thank y'all all hanging out in the chat.
Over 15,000,
we'll talk to you guys next time.
You're trolling.
Thank you very much.
All right, there's the patch notes, folks. I res in us with the bamboozler. 6 skin.
Great googly moo.
Who got his dope.